Hi everyone, this is Gary Carburettor, and this video serves two purposes. One is to help low-carb dieters, any kind of low-carb diets, keto, carnivore, because they all have the same flawed thinking. Also, this video, for a lot of my audience, you may be curious to see what the average person thinks about this latest diet craze, carnivore, eating just meat. Because we tend to get into our own world here on the internet, in this YouTube circle. So I ran across a group on Reddit here. The group is called Men's Lib, which means it has nothing to do with diet or health. And here's someone created a post here in this lib group, and he noticed a connection between this group that helps men with social issues. Noticed a connection with that and this high meat diet trend going on. So it's going to be very interesting. He titled his post, "Let's Talk About Eating Just Meat." Got my attention, and I thought they'd be talking about what we've all been talking about here for the last few months. Wow, got 160 comments on this forum. Now here's one thread that I joined in on. Someone said, literally only eating muscle can flat out kill you. It's called rabbit poisoning because early settlers who ate mostly entirely rabbit, see, settlers, which means they moved from their indigenous environment to a place where they couldn't eat normally. They would die of malnutrition. That's pretty common with migrators. Another key difference is what part of the meat they were eating. What, and I've brought this up, well, actually I don't bring it up enough. Watch wolves or lions at a kill, and you'll notice they eat the innards too, not just the meat. And this is where a lot of carnivores are just, they're not following nature or what carnivores do. They're following the half science that people like Bart like to espouse. It's not. That's the danger of getting too deep into the science, which I've talked about recently. Okay. The innards is where they're getting the valuable nutrients. Predators who eat smaller prey will often consume the entire animal. They get a lot of nutrition, stealing the vitamins and minerals that those animals got from plants. If you want a natural model, naturalistic fallacy. Lucky pigs. Their teeth are similar to humans. Okay, someone responded to that. I have a few male friends who are very into the carnivore diet thing. This disturbed me, that line right there. You have a few friends who are very into this? So that's really sad. It all started by Joe Rogan. Does he sleep okay at night? Does he realize that he has spread a trend that's hurting many, many thousands of people? It's going to really mess up the health of at least the United States. Just eating meat, almost all meat, and cheese all the time, they claim it's amazing. They feel great. Elimination diet. Oh, and also, something I'd never brought up before. If you just eat one thing, one food, that means you're not getting complications from mixtures, and gas will go away. That doesn't mean it's healthy. They feel great. They've lost all this weight. the weight thing. Let's just skip over that. But you know, the weight thing. And they push it on others. Isn't that an interesting phenomenon there? How they become almost religious, pushing, sometimes to the point of zealotry. Yes, heard that word before. Zealot. One of them is even of the opinion that fruit and vegetables are actively bad for you. Really? Where did they get a crazy idea like that? Who would say such a thing? Obviously, I'm not their doctor, but I really am concerned. They won't hear it. See, we're familiar with that kind of arrogance. People are, what's the word? They become just real arrogant. Once they've been brainwashed with a little bit of knowledge, a little knowledge is dangerous, they won't hear anything else. Okay. Then a person responded to that. A new person here called Flatline. We'll just skip over, we won't analyze that name. This is the person I had a conversation with. So I replied to his comment. But first let's read his comment here. The carnivore diet is an extreme version of the ketogenic diet. There's a lot of debate on the keto diet. And while I did use it for about 18 months, there's the first sign there. Once someone has tried a keto diet, or even done it for such a lengthy time, they are lost. You cannot unplug them. And we're going to see this right here. He did that for 18 months to drop 100 pounds. Why? You don't have to do such a thing. And later on, this person acknowledged that weight loss is all about calories in, out. All right. This person said they felt great doing it, which is crazy. You can see why I replied to this. None of the science I read suggested that a zero-carb diet was any more beneficial than a very low-carb diet, and probably came with health issues. I'm confused. None of the science. So why'd you do it? He goes on. Your friends are blowing the fruit thing out of perspective. Yes, I've been seeing that for the 6 years I've been here on YouTube, making these videos. Oh, and beyond that, it's part of the reason I started making videos. And with almost every topic these days in the world, people blow things out of proportion. They go to the extreme. He goes on. There's strong evidence now that fructose, when consumed in excess, causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fructose, not fruit. This is something people won't get. They won't get this. The studies are done on refined white fructose powder. And when you do a study like that, there's big problems with that study. I don't want to get into that. That just reminds me too much of 2011. I don't want to go there. Oh, okay. Okay, and that can lead to metabolic syndrome and potentially type 2 diabetes. Potentially, yes, it's good to throw in that word, meaning not. Their livers, I say, they're overreacting, because with fruit you can have a large amount of sugar tied up in the fiber and cellulose of the fruit, and that cellulose fills you up. How about 10 bananas? I once was able to eat 10 bananas. I eat about 18 pieces of fruit a day. I'm really thin. See, most people would say, well, 2 pieces of fruit will fill you up, so that's okay. But we're over here eating fruit meals, 4 or 5 pieces of fruit, or 6, 7 at a time. Okay. I've moved off of keto, but I've taken some of it to heart. There you go. Lost forever. I don't fear fat. Fat is filling, and fat and protein satisfy and give you long-term energy. I treat bread roughly the same way I do cake. But it's not cake. It's a treat. I've been known to sit down with a loaf of bread. This is in the 90s. And I just eat over half the loaf with vegetables. See? It's something people forget, the vegetables. You can't just eat some bread, you know. It's not right. It spikes your blood sugar about the same as cake. This person didn't mention whether it was whole wheat or not. I try to avoid processed foods entirely. I mostly do. Okay, I'm trying to really embrace the Mediterranean diet these days. For some reason, it's proving kind of difficult. Why? Since the ingredients don't really overlap with where I live culturally. Eliminate added sugar. Cook their own food more. Yep. They'd be doing better than most folks. Okay, I replied to none of the science I read thing. I said, keto also comes with a long list of health issues, and there's just no need to eat low carb. It still requires undereating, which later has a rebound effect. It's refreshing to hear you don't have fear of fruit. I've been eating a half-fruit diet for 23 years, teach it on YouTube as our most natural diet. By the way, I'm the same age as that Instagram guy who was mentioned earlier in this thread here, in this post. So someone mentioned the Baker, Sean Baker guy, as someone who eats this way. So I'm the same age as that guy. I've eaten my diet 3 times as long as he has eaten his. And I look much healthier than him. Anyway, you should have clarified that the bread that spikes your blood is refined. Though I'm of the position that glucose spikes are not a big problem. The problem is when the glucose cannot leave the blood quick enough because fat is covering the insulin receptors. I must spike my glucose a lot, but not super spikes. So it's okay. But I get called too thin. I have no health problems, no medical problems here. So Flatline replied to me, I was obese and had insulin resistance. Blood glucose spikes were the big issue for me. Why do you say that? I'd crash and eat to offset it and crash and eat to offset it. Keto let me kind of reset the clock on that. That reminds me of the videos I made like almost 3 years ago here when Dr. Oz was talking about that. And he had a guest on who said, stop thinking about the term resetting. There's no resetting. I think that was the doctor, that other doctor on TV. Okay. He goes on, lose some weight. See, keto, see, anything you do is going to reset to some degree. It's going to change your system. It's going to change your microbiome too. Matter of fact, when you eat a high-fat, high-meat diet, it messes up your microbiome, your good, bad gut bacteria, and it changes it in a bad way. But when you're eating in this bad way, they kind of fit together, and you don't get the symptoms. You only get the symptoms when you try to eat right again. Then you realize you have a problem here. The person says, my body started doing its regular cycle again. That was an illusion. You were just not getting symptoms. It was just working well with the diet. See, the gut bacteria environment started to change according to how you were eating and make it work for that. But then you'd have to stay on that diet your whole life, and you're headed for disaster if you do that. Then now he says everyone is different. We've heard that many times, and I've debunked that many times too. Here, after 6 years and 800 videos, been through it all. So I responded. So that's what he said to me. And then I responded, yeah, I understand the logic there. I'm familiar with reasons people do this diet. I have 850 videos. But keto wasn't your only solution. And using ketones as your main fuel is not your body's regular cycle. Example of what I'm getting at. Okay. Here. See, I'm getting better at communicating. Here's an example of what I'm getting at. If you eat a high-carb meal or 3 in a row, like I do you have a problem? See, I'm asking questions. That's a good thing to do. If you do have a problem, your body's not working right, because that's your natural diet. Carbs are in every food. And as another person explained up above there, even carnivores eat carbohydrates, because that's in the intestines. Most animals eat plants. The plant kingdom is the only fuel, the main source for the animal kingdom. And I said obesity, diabetes is mostly caused by putting fat with carbs, which nature does not do. The study here shows that fat consumption increases A1C levels. And I explain why. Glucose can't leave the bloodstream. Pancreas continues to create redundant insulin. That's a term that I made up. A lot of YouTubers steal phrases from elsewhere, and it turned out that's what Rider was doing with almost everything. And he admitted it too, that carb the F up he got from the bodybuilding industry, the circles. It's a good one. It's a good line. Why not use it? But I made up redundant insulin explains what's going on there. And that creates the problem. The insulin it's not working, but it's not because the resistance is the fat that's in your bloodstream. And this will exhaust your pancreas, create diabetes. And I go on and on. Oh, good stuff here. It takes 3 days for fat to clear out of the blood, but carbs can leave the blood, get to where they're supposed to go in just a matter of minutes, hours. During ketosis, the body becomes even more insulin resistant in order to preserve the small amount of sugar in the blood for the brain. You just don't notice. Staying low carb is just not healthy. You got to eat natural low-fat diet. You got to eat a natural low-fat diet. And now this person responds again. And at this point, you can imagine he's getting a little irritated. See, he quoted my example. If you eat high carb, do you have a problem? He said that's exactly what's happened. I had insulin resistance. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? You must have been eating real bad and very high fat. Junk food. And meat, of course. I did keto on advice and supervision of my doctor, and it worked. I dropped like 100 pounds. No, the keto diet didn't work. Dieting is what did that. As far as I'm concerned, it probably saved my life. That's just a sad thing. Sad thing they said there. That's so twisted. My palate significantly changed. My relationship with food. I didn't eat bacon all the time. Olive oil, fish. Once I got to the point where I didn't need I don't suggest it without medical supervision, but I'm not going to go back and feel bad or feel like I did it wrong. It worked. It was better than surgery. I agree with that. And I took monthly blood tests. Came out much healthier. According to what? Your blood tests? See? You think no one ever died with a perfect blood work? He ends up by saying, low-fat diets are terrible for me. They are not satiating. I have to aim for a moderate fat diet. So he's eating fat and carbs. But that's not healthy. That's not good for your system. The last 30 years have taught me that. I respond. Now this was many days later because I'm just not getting notifications. So I said, the question I always ask is, how many calories were you eating when you lost weight? And please don't say you didn't count. They all say that. Just add it up by your memory. Oh, you never did that. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I haven't read his last post that just came in. I'm saving that for this video. I quoted him on, I'm not going to go back and feel bad or feel like I did it wrong. This one really bothered me. This one's really sad. I think that's what it comes down to. People don't want their beliefs to be wrong. They don't want to feel like their whole history was wrong, that their life was wrong. And so they develop this arrogance. Dogmatism. We're talking about your health. Most low carbers fail. They gain the weight back, then they acquire diseases. I quoted him on low fat diets are terrible for me. The problem word here is me. Carbs aren't the problem. His system is the problem. He messed it up on keto. Just like Goji Man teaches, you're messing up your system. You need to fix your system. Something is wrong with you, and the low-carb diet only masks the problem. Okay, here's his last comment that just came in. I only read some of it and realized I just need to make a video and rant for about 20 minutes because it'd be too stressful to tape. Okay. I don't know what he means by JFC. See, this is still going on. This will be my last post on this. Let's see what happens. Does he connect with anything I'm saying? Does he? Number one, yes. I count calories. I finally, in 11 years in these circles online, I finally found someone who counted calories, a low carber. All right, maybe we're getting somewhere here. He said, I've always maintained that even keto comes down to calories in, calories out. Protein and fat satiate me better than carbs. Yes, I've heard people always say that. And in my book, I suggest that turns off the body's hunger because the body doesn't want those foods. When I went on a carb-based diet, at first, yes, my hunger went crazy. But you know what I did about it? I did something that I guess few people do. I ate the F up. I was packing in food. I was bloated all the time. But how it turned out is I just kept at it. And over time, I needed less and less food. And where I'm at now, I might be eating too little now. So I'm increasing the beans for protein. And my health, here I am now. middle aged. I'm getting old here, but I'm not aging. Doing great here. I'm out of bed. My hair's falling out, man. I'm losing hair. Okay, the satiation made it easier to stay on calories in out in a significant way. Yes, I do need to say something here. So, yes, he was calorie restricting, wasn't he? Let's go on and see. Okay, number 2. In all caps, which means he's now yelling at me. You are not my doctor. And my doctor suggested this. See, I've been saying recently, don't just listen to everything. Don't just do everything your doctor says. That's a phenomenon where they come off as an authority, like a teacher or a parent that you have to listen to. I've been there, but you don't have to do what they say. You can just go in, take tests, take their opinions. But when it comes to diet, see, here's a person making this mistake again. Don't listen to doctors about diet. They're going to be, they're not trained on diet, which means they're more likely to be wrong than right, because there's only like a handful of right things in this world on diet, and there's a crap ton of wrong things going on. And doctors will pick up some of this stuff and believe it. I know it sounds hard to believe, but I've seen this over and over and over and over here. In the field. I'm out in the field here, and this is what I see. Even Dr. Oz. It's very common. So this person goes on. Yeah. Your hubris is amazing. I'm not going to feel bad about following my doctor's instructions. They weren't instructions, first of all. He's not your parent. He's not you. It's not instructions. And the not feeling bad does not. This is amazing. This is the first low carber that's actually spelling out how they feel, that they don't want to feel bad about the decision they made. This is a big problem. Let's just move on. Okay, not going to feel bad about following my doctor's instructions because some guy on the internet named Carburettor is pretending to know better. Well, this is where I stopped at the word carburetor. I stopped right there. Pretending to know better. Flatline. I do know better. A doctor has 6 years training. Something like that. I've had about 35 years experience living as a person focused on healthy eating, while the doctor's 6 years experience was not about diet or even health. I do know better. As for my name, on YouTube it helps to have a fancy name that gets attention. It's very common on YouTube. maybe some people don't need that because they got funding. They can advertise. I made up there's this guy that I debated, and I've been making videos about. He is a senior scientist and lecturer of doctors. He taught doctors in medical school. And so this guy's real high level, right? He's recently come onto YouTube doing basically what I do, except teaching the opposite. He teaches a high-meat carnivore diet, which is what this thread is about. And I made up a term to make fun of him and his circles. I came up with the term meat militia, yes. And you know what happened? This guy took that, and he's now using it to describe himself. So much for high-level, smart scientists, medical professionals. Okay. So what I'm basically doing is dispelling a whole bunch of flawed thinking that these low carbers have. I've been doing this the entire 6 years I've been here. And I'm hoping that someone will watch this video and learn something. So, and I have very few viewers, so I hope you will share this video somewhere where someone can benefit from it. Because that's why I'm doing this. These people need this advice. Okay, this person now goes on. You also conveniently left out the immediate preceding statement that I did this under medical supervision. At this point, I have zero respect for you. Wow. Wow. Makes me want to give up. Because here I was trying really much better to be user-friendly here. Or is this person just an ass? Because it's pretty common with people who eat like this. And he says, you both... Oh, he's talking with someone else too. Wait a minute here. JFC, let's see. JFC. I don't know. Wow, long post here. Wait. No. Okay. Because you both don't listen. And that's false. I'm an excellent listener. I've actually become a professional at listening and learning. I've learned so much that it's hard for me to even get it out. I just picked what I wanted to focus on. C.3 and cherry pick my statements. That's the way they're seeing it. Okay, he quotes me saying something is wrong with you. And then says, you obviously didn't read my post. Yes, I did. And I'm not surprised at this point. See, this person's just not getting what I was saying. And that's why I didn't bother making another post and made a video instead, because this is why I now make videos, because I can express more about what I'm trying to get at. I both acknowledged what was wrong with me. No, you actually didn't. You said what was wrong on the surface, but you didn't say what was the cause. Let's get into causation here, which we never did. What's causing this person's problem? These low carbers, these carnivore peoples, they don't get to that. Like Casey, 6 months we went. And he's been at this for many years, and he still hasn't found what the problem is. Suggested that low carbs not be a default for someone and should only be done under medical supervision. Yeah. But you're doing it. So we're talking about you. In fact, I made these points repeatedly, and they bounce off you for some reason that at this point I don't care about. We're done here. I don't know what to say about that. I think I've said it all. Yeah, causation. Did the doctor ever find what was causing the problem? Well, there's my uncle guy there. He is recently sick and kept going back to the doctor and getting different medication. The doctor was making guesses as to what the problem was. And I've had this experience too. They often do not find the cause of the problem. Maybe that's too hard to do. But, there you go. Okay. Well, I'm pretty burnt out here. I think I've covered enough. So thanks for watching, and thank you for sharing this video. Thumbs up. Help it out. Make a playlist. They're fun to do. Anybody can just make a playlist, and then you add videos. You just click. It's real fun. And you could title this playlist "Low Carb Fallacies," something, something like that. Okay, that's it for this video. I've got to get to another video now. I need to get somewhere. I'm headed for somewhere big. All right, bye.